Greetings, Commanders and Wayfinders. I'm Rasmus the Chivalrous Mook, and this is the third episode of Pointless Top 10 in Guild Wars 2. This is the show where we take a look at some of the hidden gems that you won't get time to enjoy during optimal play. Why are we scaling this ancient dwarven ruin? Because inside pointless things are treasures. 10. Number 10 are the gardens that are part of Malor's ranch in the Sandswept Isles. I like that the Char are building these gardens as terrace farms with steel bars separating the tires. Clearly they have a hard time with all the invading person-sized beetles, scarabs and other pests. This might be the reason why they're constructing metal fencing around more than just the ranch animals. Building these semi-industrial gardens out of old ruins is like such a cool backdrop concept that I had to have them on this list. That's why the gardens in Malor's Reach are number 10. 9. Number 9 are the rooftop gardens in Skywatch Archipelago. While the fractal around them are full-on desert sands, these planter boxes are filled with black, soily goodness and support a wide variety of plants. I really like the idea of using the rooftops to get away from any pesky pests that might want to get into the boxes, plus it makes for a great scenic view. It's also a very neat detail that some of these boxes have drapes hung over them for plants that prefer shade over direct sunlight. So much care is put into the realism and beauty of these rooftop gardens that I was actually unsure whether I should have given them a higher spot on the list. I ended up sending them down here because of the abundance of the utility gardens I have on this list. I far prefer those to ornamental gardens. But anyways, let me know in the comments below if you think I should have placed this hidden away gem more prominently on the list. For now though, the rooftop gardens in Skywatch Archipelago are number 9. 8. Number 8 is the gardening segment of another ranch. This one is the Highjump Ranch in the desert highlands of Ilona. Here they farm exclusively carrots, as they are apparently the favorite snack of our fluffy jumpy friends, the Springer Mounts. I definitely get why they would be growing carrots here, even though they are getting a lot of prairie dogs digging up and eating their crops. The carrots are huge. Look at these. I could feed an entire Crichton noble house with just one of these. Like, there are Azarr that are smaller than these carrots. Granted, it's a little samey with only carrots, but I fell in love with the location's significance as the place where they grow food for springers. I guess this could mean that carrots are to springers what Geisel greens are to chocobos from the Final Fantasy series. Thinking about this makes me happy, and that's why I placed the carrot garden in Highjump Ranch as number 8. 7. Number 7 is Rime's garden in Caledon Forest. This is one of the first things you see as a newly awakened Sylvari just after your introduction quest. Shaking down prickly fruits here and feeding them to the moa might just be how many players completed their first heart in the game. And it's pretty with everything slightly submerged in water and these leaf wheelbarrows standing around. But look at the fruit in these. It's almost like Halloween pumpkins with carved faces, though that seems to be their natural state. Could the pumpkins used as decorations for Halloween interior actually not be pumpkins? Probably not, but I like to wonder. And anyways, for the jungle beauty and the nostalgic memory, Rime's garden gets to be number 7. 6. Number 6 is Azarr's Arbor in Drytops. In a map that's mostly desert, this oasis is a welcome breather where the frequent sandstorms don't reach. A friendly Centaur named Azarr and his Skrit sidekick Nipkit are tending a garden filled with flowering cacti, cabbages, carrots and these huge vine plants that can apparently grow into large bridges under the right circumstances. Also, the soil here makes it optimal for planting anything. The seeds of fire orchids are plantable in a few places around Tyria as part of an achievement quest, but only in Azarr's Arbor do they grow 3 entire plants. If anyone has ever had a dream of an idyllic life in harmony with nature, surely Azarr and Nitpick have that figured out. That's what makes Azarr's Arbor number 6. 5. Number 5 is the Eldvin Monastary's inner garden. The monks here are spending their days caring for a wide array of plants. The grapes are their main plant as they are known in Queensdale for their wines. But they also have these nice planter boxes with a wide variety of beautiful flowers and lattice work for crawling plants to grow across. Truly, they have taken a very tight space and filled every inch they could with either beauty or utility, and the combination is what makes this such a great pick for me, placing it above Rime's garden, the other starting zone garden on this list. Also, there's a bit of mystery for me here. These cone-shaped plants I never figured out. They are very large and seem to be producing some sort of seed or small dry fruit that the monks are harvesting and putting in the bags. I tried to look up trees like this and see if I could find any that matched, or maybe if vineyards had something besides grapes, but I couldn't find anything. Maybe someone knows and will share the answers in the comments, but for now though, this monastery is a great place to see some of the diversity of the game's plants, and to think this hasn't been updated since the game was released in 2012. Jeez. Before I feel too old, let me place this as number 5. 4. Number 4 is probably a biased pick by me, but this is a pointless list, so I can do what I want, right? Right. Anyways, these are planter boxes in the rusty meadows of Grothmar Valley. And just like I was worried about having placed the rooftop gardens too low on the list, I'm worrying about placing these too high. There are just 3 boxes making up this garden plot on a larger char grain farm. But I love these because nowhere else are there the same kind of utilitarian long-ended bottomless planter boxes. And I'm about to tell you why these are great, especially for creeper plants like strawberries as shown here. By being above ground level, you have an easier time getting to the fruits of your labor. At the same time, you keep the plants inside away from pests such as snails. Strawberries multiply by sending out tendrils from the main plant along the soil and then growing new roots where they touch down, thus creating a network. By planting just a few small strawberry bushes in a planter box like these, they will naturally fill out the entire thing by year's end. In fact, I have a box set aside for this in my own garden. But what makes this different from the rooftop gardens at the 9th place, I hear you say? Connection to the ground. You see, there's no bottom to planter boxes like these. The plants can suck up nutrients from all of the earth underneath, not just whatever you fill the planter box with. This makes them much less likely to run out of nutrients and need soil changes. And well, I'm ranting, but these planter boxes just make me so happy to see in game, and that's why, though unimpressive in scale or beauty compared to some of the other gardens on this list, these make it all the way to 4th place. 3. Number 3 is the Botanical Skygarden in Amnitas, Bastion of the Natural. This place is pretty majestic, as is the style of the wizards in the Secrets of the Obscure, but what really makes this a top 3 is the variety of plants they are managing to grow here. It gives clear greenhouse vibes, though there is no roof on it. Each square of the garden has a different biome, from the palms of the desert maps all the way to the toxic offshoots Scarlet used in the first living season. One of my favorite designs here are the trees with these small blue leaves or bulbs or something, but I also like this tiny bamboo forest that somehow seems dense and sprawling despite the small space. All of these things makes Botanical Skygarden number 3. 2. Number 2 is the central Plaza garden in front of Queen Yenna's palace complex in Divinity's Reach. This is the ultimate manicured ornamental garden. Though primarily consisting of bushes and trees cut into artistic shapes to please noble visitors, this garden is also designed with shapes and bridges to make a lot of secret little walkways, which somehow makes it feel private even though it's very open. And of course, the huge glass roof with the golden inlay and the big astronomical calendar that makes me question the cosmology of all of Kryta. Like, if the gods are going to find other worlds through the mists that are also in the afterlife, does that mean that the mists work kind of like the cognitive realm in Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere? Or are the worlds in the mists part of a different realities than Tyria rather than different planets in the space? These questions are definitely too big for a pointless video like this, but I love that this place can make me wonder and simultaneously provide a serene space for my musings to take place in. That's what makes the Central Plaza in Divinity's Reach number 2. 1. At the top of this list is the garden in Seitung Harbor. I knew from the beginning that I had to put a utility garden at the top of this list. Flowers are nice and all, but nothing beats picking raspberries or apples on your own plants and eating them in the sun. And this garden is just such a beautiful location with so many different plant beds with nice crops, from sugar pumpkins and zucchini to soybeans and herbs. Even some flax, which is a nice crop for someone potentially making linen clothes in their spare time. There are also some planter boxes, which is a nice addition, though these are so low to the ground that they might as well just not be there. Just standing here taking in the ambience, I can imagine picking some of the crop and processing them next to this little serene oasis. The water gently slushing against the stones and wind playing through the branches of the tree. The variation here, as well as the absolutely stunning surroundings, are what makes this the first place on this list. And here at the end, as I'm trying to fill 20 seconds for the end cards so they don't obscure the video, I have a question for you. Which kind of garden do you prefer? Utility or ornamental? And while you're leaving a comment about that, you can plant a seed on the subscribe button to keep up with this series as it develops. Because there are so many wonderful, secret or difficult to get to places and people that you don't get to interact with in your daily gameplay loop of Guild Wars 2. So I'm always left to wonder, what details did I miss? Maybe I'll be able to answer that next time.